Hello, I'm David Swales. I'm the Head of Art at Bootham School, and I'm going to talk a little bit about our A-level Art and Design programme. I'm also going to take you on a little bit of a tour around the art department. For those people that are new to the school who haven't actually visited before, I want you to have a little look around and get a sense of the facilities and the spaces that our college students work in. And hopefully in doing that, I'm going to give you a flavour of the fact that art, as it's taught at A-level at Bootham, is very much similar to a situation that one might experience as a specialist art student at an art college or university. Art and Design at Bootham at A-level is taught as a single course. So it's the EdXL Art and Design A-level course. We don't teach individual specialisms in photography, textiles and fine arts. However, our course is structured so that should you wish to follow those particular paths, so let's say, for example, that you're somebody who's thinking perhaps of studying fashion in the future, or illustration, or architecture, or whatever it may be, there is something within our A-level programme that will allow you to explore that specialist area of interest and develop your portfolio in a way that's appropriate for your individual interests and needs. So we're standing at the moment in the foyer gallery exhibition area, I suppose, which is at the centre of the art department. We've got three main studio areas plus a specialist area for the college students. And what I'll do is just walk through the space now, and on the way maybe just point out a couple of bits and pieces of work that belong to our A-level students. So if you want to follow me through here, the course starts with lots of experimental investigation of material. So the first term is structured somewhat like an art and design foundation course perhaps at art college, where people will work to explore the nature of paint, drawing, sculpture, printmaking. So some of the things that you'll see around as we walk through will be quite spontaneous, highly experimental, highly abstract pieces, which nevertheless are trying to embed an understanding of making and an understanding of the properties of materials. That's at the centre of our A-level course. You will also probably see as we walk through some more refined what you might think of as finished outcomes. So this is a sculptural outcome by one of our students at the moment in College 2, something which he actually made during the lockdown period, supported by us via online learning. But things like this are much more refined and are the result of a journey of experimentation and development along the way. So if you want to follow me through. So we're now entering what we call Art Studio 1. Now this studio is typically the space where our college students are taught. As we walk through this area here, this is a sort of multifunctional space, if you like, which gets used for all sorts of larger scale projects and larger scale work. Just a quick glance around the space reveals, for example, experimental pieces by those that are interested in fashion in the future. Other examples by students working in 3 dimensions in a way that's perhaps more akin to something architectural or product design type work. And again, more experimental sculpture and so on. So as we come through this space, we now find ourselves in the specific college carrel area or the studio area for college students. Now when you get into College 2, which is the second year of your A-level, you get allocated a specific space which is yours to own, to inhabit, and to treat very much as your, I guess, professional studio workspace area. So the example, the kind of gilet type thing that I've just gestured to as we walked past before, this is the studio space area that belongs to the student making that work. So this web-like structure here is something that they're kind of currently interested in exploring, but they've got this kind of personal area. So although students will make work in the larger studios, and we'll have a look in there in a moment, you also get your specific area. And this goes to some of what I was trying to say earlier about the idea that we want the experience to be as much like a college type experience as we possibly can. So let's have a little look around. So this guy's more of a textiles kind of sculptural, fashiony type person. This guy's project is much more in the realm of photography. And as we go through here, you'll see Alice working over here, who you don't have to turn around, don't worry. This is her studio space. Alice is actually going on to study geography at university. And it's quite interesting that our course is adaptable in such a way that you can very much tailor the content of your work to support your wider applications and ambitions for the future. So Alice's work is very much about place, location, and there are kind of geographical themes, if you like, that run through the work that she's making. There's another photography project across there. This is a guy who's making work which is very much to do with theology and kind of belief systems and the concept of angels. He's going on to study philosophy and theology at university. So as we progress through, you see this space extends through. Another key feature of art at Bootham is that, unlike some other places, we have a resident artist who works in the department. So this studio space behind us at the moment has got Imogen working away on some of her work. Every year we appoint the resident artist on a short-term contract. Okay, so generally just 1 year, sometimes extended to 2. And that's a person who has recently graduated from university in some discipline of art and design. What they do is they come to us for a year, we give them a studio space for a year, and they work amongst the college students so that our oldest students, who may be about to embark on a similar road themselves, can learn from that experience. And the resident artist acts as a kind of bridge, if you like, between the kind of 17, 18-year-old A-level students and then us, the more experienced art teachers. As well as being teachers as well, another key feature of the art department at Bootham is that we are all ourselves practicing artists. This is, I think, a particularly noteworthy thing about art at Bootham. We are constantly critiquing the students, advising them about their work, making judgments and assessments of what they're doing. And that's quite an exposing thing, actually, for them. And it's something which, you know, the work that you make, it's personal, or it certainly should be. And we want you to be creating things which are kind of genuinely heartfelt and kind of motivated from a place of deep creativity in you. And so when you're doing that stuff and you're putting it up on the wall for criticism, that's, you know, you're exposing something of your kind of self in that way. As practicing artists, it's important that we are aware of how that feels. And so the idea that we are making work ourselves and we've not forgotten what it's like to be in that position of the student struggling to kind of make something, that's a kind of important feature as well. As well as myself, there are, let's think, 1, 2, 3 other, 4 other members of the teaching staff, as well as the artist in residence, and then a technician who supports the learning of the students in a technical way. And that's the full complement of the staff. So it's quite a large department for a school of Bootham's size. We've got other studio spaces upstairs as well, similar to the ones here, so we've got enough capacity for as many students as we need. But you can probably sense from just walking through here that this is a really kind of calm, focused department. It often feels quite apart from the main kind of hustle bustle of the school. So here we are upstairs in the second part of the college studio area. A question that's often asked of me when we do the face-to-face open days in school for prospective students is why study art as part of an A-level programme? And there are a number of reasons for that, I would say. There's the obvious reason that if you are thinking of pursuing something in visual creative arts, and as I say, that may be everything from architecture through to, you know, fashion design, photography, animation, whatever, then art is an essential part of your preparation for an application of that sort because of the portfolio that it provides you with. However, there are many students who study art with us who go on to study other courses at Russell Group universities and other prestigious places around the country. And what art does for those students is it gives a breadth to their curriculum, and it also allows them to follow a path of study which encourages a highly independent approach to learning and allows them to explore, almost in the way that an EPQ does, a project which is of personal significance and interest to them. So when they're writing their personal statements and trying to explain their interest in history, for example, if they're able to say that they've produced an art project which alongside their study of history or physics or whatever it might be, has explored ideas that are kind of relevant and germane to that subject area. That testifies to a student who is able to make connections between subject areas in a way which actually is quite dynamic and can sometimes set those students apart. So what it does is, in developing a kind of an ability to creatively explore a pathway that's independently decided by themselves, it actually develops some real kind of higher level study skills that are important for the kind of work that students do at university. Just behind me here, we've got a student who's developing abstract work which is influenced by the art of revolutionary Russia. And she's kind of looking at that and is aware of the historical context of it. Over here is a guy whose work is based on documents from his family history. And this guy's major interest and love is history. He actually wants to go on to study law, but the subject matter that he's selected is very much in line and in tune with the type of student that he is as an individual. So it's quite important that whilst you may be looking at the idea of taking art and not necessarily thinking, well, I don't really want to go to art college, so is art the right thing to study for me? The fact is that if it's a real interest of yours and you are a creative person and you're looking for a balanced curriculum, then there is no reason not to study art at A level, and in fact it can give you something really essential and exciting that is hard to find in some of the subject areas.